Last year in April we had a house fire, but it wasn't here in this bedroom. It was right here in the kitchen just after 6 p.m. It's not an easy thing to sit here and talk about, but it happened and it's now a part of our history. I remember the event so vividly. Roxy had just left for work and Benji threw a toy in anger over her leaving. He ran out into the garden to go and play, and shortly after I heard a strange noise, and when I went to check, the kitchen netting had caught a light from a candle left on the side. As it was only small at this stage, I quickly got a cup of water and threw it towards the netting. I then grabbed a fire extinguisher that we had, sprayed this towards the kitchen netting, and I believed I'd put the fire out. It was then at this point I went to check on Benji, only to return to huge flames. That resulted in me running into the back garden, shutting the patio door and dialing 999. As I was stood in the garden, all that I could do was watch as the house filled with thick black smoke. Then I grabbed Benji, I ran round the front of the house, I passed Benji to my neighbours, and I just had to wait for the fire brigade to turn up. As the fire station is only a few streets away, they arrived really quickly with lights and sirens blaring. I remember that the front door was actually locked, so they had to force entry into the house, and they ran in with their breathing equipment on. And I can't remember how many went in. What's really scary is one of the firefighters told me afterwards that he'd never seen so much black smoke in his life. When they went in, they just couldn't see a single thing in the house. And once they were sure the fire was out, they opened all the windows and doors and got this massive fan that they put at the front of the house and blew all of the smoke out of the property. The fire brigade told us the house was safe to re-enter, so I could go and get things like a jumper and shoes. And when I went in, my chest became really tight to the point that they had to give me an oxygen mask and call an ambulance. Whilst I was in hospital, arrangements were being made as to where we were going to stay that night with thanks to the British Red Cross. They helped us in securing a B&B for the night. And the next morning we went into the council offices to speak about where we'd be staying that night and, trying to follow up what was going to happen, and they had absolutely no idea the fire had even happened, despite coming out the night before to secure the front door. And unfortunately, we ran into a lot of problems with the council regarding the repairs and everything, but I must say, credit where it is due, they did get us a flat really quickly where we stayed until the repairs were done. It became apparent very quickly that we would have to foot the bill for the repairs that were being done in the house because the council, as our landlords, did not have building insurance for this house. And for some time there was no quote really being given until I started a petition to try and get it changed so tenants like ourselves could actually get building insurance, and that is when we were quoted by the council that it's going to be approximately, as a guesstimate, £5,000.
£5,000 bill for burning a candle. The council tenants who couldn't buy insurance to cover them.
A couple are facing a £5,000 repair bill after a fire badly damaged their council house in Reading.
This is the story of a couple from Reading who live in a council house who are being asked to pay £5,000 to put right some damage that happened in a fire because Reading Borough Council say it won't pay for it.
The petition and our story were covered by local media outlets such as our local newspaper and BBC South Today. Sadly, after contact with our local MP, it became clear that the law wasn't going to change to allow tenants to get buildings insurance, but it did raise much needed awareness around the whole story, and obviously if you're a tenant, what problems you may face if something like this does happen to you. As you'd expect, ever since the event it's been really difficult to deal with, and it was exactly 1 year on from the fire itself that we were told we'd owe the council £2,000, and we're both really puzzled as to why they sent it exactly 1 year on from when the fire happened. But unfortunately, it's a lot of backwards and forwards with the council at the moment in regards to the money. We've never said it wasn't our fault, we've always accepted it was our fault, but it's still really difficult because there's no way we could have ever protected ourselves against something like this or anything else such as flooding. So, it just leaves us in this really difficult position. To be completely honest, this is just a tiny portion of the entire story I could be telling you, but it would just be far too long for a video to actually make and put out, so this really just scratches the surface of what has happened and what is happening right now regarding this. And I just want to end this video by saying please make sure you stay safe when using candles or anything that could potentially cause a fire. I would absolutely hate for this to happen to anyone else, so please make sure you stay safe and test your fire alarms regularly.